Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? It's me. I'm back. It's been buku long since I made a video. How y'all been? How the kids? How your mom and everybody? Everybody all right? Life came at your girl fast, okay? I went on a trip to the lovely island of Aruba. See, she's tanned a little bit still, you heard me. Had a great, funky, good time. I'm gonna insert some pictures, you heard me, so y'all can see how good I looked on the island. I'm supposed to live on an island. It's just the way I think God intended it. Came back from Aruba on a Friday, caught the flu on a Friday. That flu knocked me down to the white meat. I was scared I had the Miranda variant of the COVID. Yes. But guess what? She's here. I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't stay away, okay? I'm coming to you today to talk about Just Like That. It's the Just Like That variant of the Sex and the City franchise, okay? If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I give you fun, fresh, and funny rants, reviews, and recaps on my favorite movies and TV shows with a specific focus on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, since that's my favorite thing to watch. But here today, okay, we're here to talk about Carrie, Miranda, and Charlotte and them. To say that I'm like a movie and TV review person, stuff be lost on me, child. I be missing the boat. I literally did not watch Sex and the City when it was on TV in its original form on HBO until literally the series finale. Everybody was like, girl, the thing coming to an end. Oh, we gotta see what Carrie and Big gonna do. And I'm like, Papa, who this woman? Who you talking about? I didn't know who they were. So everybody was watching it, so peer pressure is real, child, so I watched it too. I watched the episode and I was like, oh, all right, cool. You know, I wasn't invested either way. But then I started watching it on demand. I've definitely seen every single episode. We went, my friends and I had a really cute little outing when the Sex and the City movie came out. We dressed up. We went to the movies all dressed up. We went for Cosmos, honey. We were in our early 20s and we were just feeling ourselves and feeling super cute. I saw the second movie as well. Wasn't a fan of the second one, okay? Because I didn't like how they went to the UAE and was disrespecting these people cultures and customs and stuff. I didn't like that. I couldn't relate to a lot of it because they were wealthy white women in New York and she is a middle-class black woman in the deep south, okay? So it was a lot of things that I just was like, oh, okay, cool. Anyway, moving on. So Just Like That. All right, so Just Like That opens up and we see Carrie and Miranda and Charlotte. They're out to lunch per usual, right? Now they're in their mid to late 50s and Miranda has let her hair turn gray. You know, Miranda was a fiery redhead and that was like her signature look. Carrie is, you know, blonde still, serving looks per usual. Everybody looks the same. Everybody stayed true to who we know them to be, right? We don't see any like vast changes in what we would expect to see from them. Miranda is going back to school to get a master's degree in human rights, I believe is the degree. And she is feeling nervous about it. So Charlotte is living her idyllic upper Manhattan. Where Charlotte live? Park Avenue. She's living her idyllic Park Avenue life and with her husband Harry. Love Charlotte and Harry together. And she's, you know, super excited about, you know, her children. That's what Charlotte does. She's always wanted to be a wife and a mother. She's fully engrossed in that now. It was written into the show that Carrie fired Samantha as her publicist because she's not doing print anymore. She's off that, right? You know, print is dead and, you know, she needs to be relevant, i.e. her on the podcast and her on social media. And, you know, she didn't need a publicist anymore. And so it's written that Samantha took a job in London and that she doesn't talk to Carrie, Miranda, or Charlotte anymore. Even though they all call her, text her, leave her voicemails, she completely ignores them, right? Okay, so we see Carrie going home to Big and they're making dinner, which is like, didn't you just go eat french fries with your friends? Now you went straight to the house and you about to eat dinner? Sis, go off, okay? You better do it. So Big is at home and he's like cooking dinner and they hanging out or whatever and they having salmon and talking about Carrie going to get salmon and the man was like trying to give her some cheap ass salmon, whatever. I don't know. They were doing like, you know, married people shit. Had this ritual, Carrie and Big, where they would go in alphabetical order in Big's record collection and like pull records and just listen to records over dinner, right? And the album that they pulled was Todd Rundgren and they played Hello It's Me, which is a great song, right? I don't know the Todd Rundgren version of it. I know the Isley Brothers version, okay? Because she black on the black hand side, all right? That's the version I know. And I love that song, okay? I would sing it. you know what I'm saying, right now, I'm not gonna even do that to you. Now, had I not been like coming up here with the scratchy Billy Goat's gruff in my throat, okay, I would have definitely give you a little taste of my vocal style. So I'm gonna just go ahead and move on. Anyway, they playing, you know, Hello, It's Me. They having a nice little conversation in the kitchen, and Carrie is like, hey, you know, Charlotte really wants us to go to Lily's piano recital. So can we go to the Hamptons on Saturday instead of Friday like we planned? And he was like, yeah, cool, bet. So Carrie's like, all right, cool, do you want to go? And Big's like, nah, son, you know I ain't going. That's not the kind of uncle I am. I'm the kind of uncle that just give you a little money. Congratulations on your piano recital, here's $150. Like, I'm not the uncle that goes to the piano recital, and I respect that. All right, cool, right? So next we cut to Miranda having her first day of class, right? She was early and she was feeling a little nervous, so she stopped at a bar to have a drink to kind of like take the edge off before class, right? Miranda's going to class and she's, you know, sitting down in a circle of students, and she sits in a chair, and a person is like, hey, that's what a professor uses it. And Miranda's like, oh, my bad, cool, I'm gonna go to another chair, right? So the person moved their stuff and she sat down, and then a black lady with long box braids comes in, and she's, you know, going to the chair that Miranda was in that the professor sits in. And Miranda tells the black lady, hey, that's where the professor sits. And the lady is like, cool, because I'm the professor. And Miranda's like, what?
Wait, you the professor?
And then the lady's like, yeah, I am. And Miranda's like, oh, I didn't think you would be the professor. And the lady's like, well, why wouldn't you think I'm the professor? And then Miranda's like, because of your braids. And the lady's like, what? So I can't have braids if I'm a law professor? Miranda proceeds to have a white lady aneurysm. Do you hear me? Listen, this scene was not lost on me, okay? There are tons of well-meaning white people in the world who are aware that you know, there's a movement to, you know, acknowledge people's pronouns. There's a movement to not assume that because one presents a certain way that they are that gender, right? And so it can be confusing to people who are of a certain age, who are aware that these movements are happening, and they want to be respectful of people's choices and decisions and how they present to the world, but they don't fucking know how to do that shit because it's not something that they grew up doing. Like, Miranda is like 50, almost 60 years old, right? And she comes from a time where men were he and women were she, and that was just it. It wasn't nothing in between. It is a yank, okay? And now she's in this classroom where she's obviously the oldest person there. She's a white person. She's an old corporate lawyer, right? And so she refers to a person as he, and then the person is like, damn, you coming quick with the pronouns. Like, how you know that's my pronouns? And it freaks her out, and she kind of digs herself even more into a hole, and she just word vomits herself into complete and goddamn total embarrassment. So she saw the lady's picture on the Columbia website, right? And she's like, your hair is different on the website than it is now. So I just assumed that you would have a short haircut when you came to class, and you have really long hair. So I didn't think you were a professor. Not knowing that black women will change their hair from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can't ever assume that a black woman is gonna come looking the same way every day. But that's something that culturally she may not have been aware of, Miranda, right? And so then she goes off. She's like, you know, your hair was long on the short on the website. Your hair is long now, and you know, I didn't mean to assume anything. You know, I'm so glad that you are, you know, a black woman. I took this class because you were black. And the lady and the professor's like, why you took the class? Because I'm black. That's why you chose to take the class, because I'm black? What? And Miranda, like, it makes her even more nervous. She's like, no, I love that you're a community activist and you do so much for the community. And, you know, I don't even place that much value in hair because look at my hair. I stopped dyeing my hair. I'm gray. I don't think it makes me look old that I'm gray. And she was like, oh, do I sound ageist? And so she's like aware of these things that she's, you know, supposed to be knowledgeable about, right? Because she's supposed to be like woke, right? And she's taking this class with these young people, and she doesn't want to seem out of touch or out of the loop as it relates to, you know, progression in society and what people expect from you and what people expect that you're supposed to know, right? Has a total conniption, alteration, aneurysm, stroke in the place. She was trying really hard not to be the Karen, right? She was trying not to be the old white lady in the class, but she ended up old white lady in herself into a corner, child. And I just really enjoyed that because I think that happens to a lot of people. Like, you don't want to be perceived as not knowing, but you don't fucking know. So if she would have just shut up, she'd have probably been all right. But that was a bad way for her to start her first class, right? Whole thing. So now we cut to Carrie, and Carrie's at work on her podcast, and the podcast is called X, Y, and Me, and the cishet men, a cisgender heterosexual man, cisgender heterosexual woman, and then a non-binary person, and they discuss like gender roles and sex and like shit, right? And so, you know, they're talking about sex, right, on the episode, and you know, we would think that that's what Carrie would be comfortable talking about, right? And she's kind of embarrassed about the stuff that they're talking about. They're talking about like anal sex and like doing it in public and like all kind of stuff. And Carrie's like, oh, like she's feeling awkward, right? Because people would assume that, you know, she had this column about sex or like way before that was like something that was like typically and generally accepted, and she did these books about relationships and sex and that she would be cool with stuff like that. Carrie is not cool about just being like, yeah, I like it when you do it to me. Like she's not like, that's not who she is, right? So after the episode is over, the host of the show, Che, pulls Carrie to the side and is like, listen, sis, you got to step it up because you can't just be on this show giggling. Do it, and you got to like bring more to the table. And Carrie's like, listen, I appreciate that, Che. Give me a second because I'm not used to shit like this. I'm used to like the Zaza Zoo. She was very much like innuendos and like really like sly and coy and like feminine. Like she wants to like be relevant. You know, she's doing like her Instagram page is really popular. She does like quirky and like interesting fashion on, you know, in New York, because, you know, she's known as like a fashion person in the city, of course, because she gives the looks. But she's also, again, a woman of a certain age, and some of that shit is lost on her, and I feel that, child, because I ain't got time. Okay, I get it. I feel you, Carrie girl. Okay, so now we get to Charlotte. Charlotte is very excited about Lily's piano recital, and she goes to Oscar de la Renta to get 2 dresses for her girls for the piano recital. Lily is, you know, baby Charlotte, girly and frilly and like Charlotte, right? And then Rose, on the other hand, was me, okay? Rose is like, listen, I don't want to wear that shit. I don't want to wear no dress, girl. It got flowers on it. What you talking about? Nah, I ain't gonna hold you. The Oscar de la Renta dress that Lily had to wear for her recital was so pretty. And Charlotte is like, Rose, listen, I appreciate you, sis. I know that you don't want to wear no flowers. This one don't even have no flowers on it. It's just a dress. So if you could slide this thing on so we can get to this this recital, I love you forever, my girl. And so they went to the recital, and Lily looked beautiful in her dress, and Rose was like, I'm gonna put the dress on, but on top I'm gonna put this t-shirt that I was gonna wear in the first place, and I'm gonna wear this ugly ass Olaf hat or whatever. I don't know what kind of hat she had on, but baby, guess what? She was comfortable and she was feeling confident, and I know wasn't nobody gonna tell her nothing. Nah. So they get to the recital, and Carrie's like, girl, I like that. That's cute. That's a look there. You know, Carrie's like encouraging her. Prior to this, you know, scene that I'm about to talk about, we meet Nicole Ari Parker's character, LTW, Lisa Todd Wexley. And she's like the new hot popular mom at Lily and Rose's school. Like life, you hear me? Serving Lukes and love, okay? Lisa Todd Wexley and her husband and her mother-in-law. Lisa Todd Wexley's mother-in-law is a rich-ass black lady with an attitude, child. That is not the smoke you want. A old, rich black lady, child. So we get to the recital, and everybody's there, right? Miranda and Steve and Harry and Charlotte, of course, because they're the mom and dad, obviously. And Carrie and Anthony and Stanford, everybody's there, right? Which I love that, because family is who you need it to be, right? Family is the people that show up. We see that Lisa Todd Wexley's son is first up to perform. My guy completely bombed. You understand me? Girl, children will embarrass you and make you shame. Yeah. They will make you shame. So Miranda snuck a bottle of wine and some cups into the recital, right? Because she was like, listen, I had a white lady conniption. I don't know. I had a shitty ass day. So you gonna have to let me slide with this wine, baby, because I can't do it without no alcoholic beverages. And then Lisa Todd Wexley is like, say, baby, pass me a little pack. Give me a little cup. Here go Lily. Lily get up on the stage on this Steinway and Sons piano and completely kills the game. Do you hear me? She played that Bach in third solo minuet Like, she wrote that bitch. You hear me? She did work. And everybody was like, God damn, Lily. So Carrie is in the audience, and she was talking to Big, you know, prior to her leaving, saying, like, depending on how the, you know, recital goes, we might be able to leave and go to the Hamptons tonight instead of going on Saturday. I'll let you know, right? And so she texted him and like, yeah, we'll leave tonight, right? So Big, prior to Carrie leaving, was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get with Allegra, right? Allegra is his Peloton instructor, because he's really big into his Peloton. And so he's like, listen, I'm gonna, you know, do my Peloton ride. I'm gonna hop in the shower, get dressed. We're gonna go ahead and go to the Hamptons tonight, right? And Carrie's like, well, I'm on my way, right? So Carrie gets home and she's like, hey, you know, I'm here. You ready to go? And she finds him on the ground, right? So I couldn't tell. It looked like he had a stroke because one of his eyes was low and his mouth looked a little low. But they said that he had a heart attack, you know, in episode 2. But she finds him on the floor of the shower and he's sitting there. He's alive still, because I was like, oh
shit, he done fucking died.
Right? But he is alive when she gets to him. And for some reason, unbeknownst to your girl, she does not call 911 or any goddamn body. She just holds him on the ground. Now, I don't know if they have some kind of married people telekinesis where she was like, oh, he gone, and, you know, he gonna die from this, and can't nobody resuscitate him. This is just over with. But she ain't called nobody. She just hugged him on the ground. So when she hugged him, he started to move. That's how I knew he was alive, child, because I was like, oh, shit. John James Preston, you better get up, boy. I was like, oh, my God. Big about to die? The fuck? But he was alive, right? So she's, you know, he's moving very slowly, and she's on the ground with him, and she's like holding him and saying John, and like, you know, whatever, and he dies in her arms on the ground in front of the shower. So she ain't call 911. She ain't call 911. That's how the episode ends, okay? With her not calling 911, with her husband dying in her arms. I don't know. I ain't never had a husband die in my arms, and I'm just saying, like, that's what you taught from like when you 4. It's like if somebody's hurt or sick, you gotta call 911. I don't know. Like, time is of the essence. Listen, I don't know, child. John James Preston, also known as Mr. Big Dying. What? Y'all coming out hot, huh? Coming out the gate hot. So also, comment down below and let me know whether you were pro Carrie and Big getting together or whether you was like, man, fuck Big, right? Because in Sex and the City, he was really trash to her. And he left her at the altar in the movie, right? I hope I ain't spoiled that for nobody, but this is a spoiler review. I, at the time, didn't want them to get back together because, bitch, what you not about to do is embarrass me. You not about to make me shame and ruin my life. Now I got to call Jennifer Hudson to help me get my life back together, child. Boy, ain't no way, boy. You know, as I'm older now, I'm like, listen, life is too goddamn hard to be out here making choices that's, you know, not gonna make you happy. If it's making you happy, go ahead and go for it. Unless it's like drugs or like murder or something like that, do it. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Do what makes you happy, baby. Do what you want to do. So comment down below and let me know what you thought.